Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Good evening, I'm Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle, back with you again. You're here live at AT's Weather. We're going to talk about the winter storm potential coming up for next week, the big Arctic blast coming out of Siberia heading toward Oklahoma, and we're also going to see what it looks like for your Christmas holidays. So thanks for joining me. Please like and share this video wherever you are, if it's Facebook, if it's YouTube, if it's Rumble, if it's Twitter, whatever it may be, and we're going to spread the word on the good stuff. I see you guys are wanting some snow down there in Dallas, huh? Surprising. Hey, you know what? I think everybody wants a little bit of snow. Most people like the snow that just is here one day and gone the next. Kids, of course, want the snow to last forever. I'm kind of somewhere in between. I'd like to stick around for a little bit, but not very long. Just enough to kind of enjoy it. But we're definitely going to have cold enough temperatures to support it. The question is, of course, we'll get a storm system aligned just right in the stars to give us some of that white stuff here, which is so elusive this time of the year. Okay, so let's see. We've got enough of you kind of chiming on in. By the way, on Facebook, I'm going to post this link. If you are having trouble getting notified when I do go live, just to opt in. If you've opted in the past, you're going to have to resubscribe, so to speak. So make sure you hit manage messages when you do click on that. And then that way it'll let you know that you still want to get notified by me directly whenever I do go live, that we don't miss anything. All right, so let me see. Got all that stuff taken care of out there currently. A few clouds around. I'm at 35 degrees on my Tempest weather station with a west-northwest breeze at a whopping 2 miles per hour. So it's a chilly night out there across my neck of the woods, and I imagine yours is too. And we can take a look at that here on the statewide map. And you can see temperatures are already dipping down around 32 degrees or less, where you see the outline in the yellow. So these yellow lines indicate where temperatures are falling below freezing. So other than this one little spot here in El Reno, which is always the case, the rest of central Oklahoma just barely above or so, by a couple of degrees. Okay, that's now. How about the future? Let's look into the crystal ball of the forecasts. All right, well, let's take a look at the American model here for today. You're going, why are you going with the American model, Aaron? Don't you like the European? I do. I like all the models, and also hate all the models. All the models are terrible. Some models are useful. And this time around, it really doesn't matter. This far out, the flipping and the flopping continues so much. It's the general consensus of what I drive home at the end of this period, but it's fun to see some of the data. All right, let's take a look at the stuff coming in here for lunchtime that came in earlier this afternoon. So you go through time, see all the purple that shows up on the map? Look how it grows across Canada, and even some greens and greens and whites up there. Those are temperatures in the negative 30s and 40s. Now, look what happens as we zip on into, I've now forecasted the position up to around Thursday morning. So you see across the country how that Arctic air is working its way and invading in this direction. So it is coming southward here during the day on Thursday across the southern plains, dipping all the way into Texas. So keep going with time. You see the brunt of the cold air is right here across the midsection of the country from Manitoba in Canada, friends up there near Winnipeg, to the minus 40s in North Dakota, single digits here in Oklahoma City by Friday morning. The cold weather continues to dive southward. If you look down in Florida, let me back this up to right here Friday morning, half the state of Florida is below freezing, the northern half. Even down here in South Texas, there's a little saving grace around Brownsville, but not by much come Friday morning. And as we head into Saturday, more of that cold air continues to kind of deepen on in, and same thing for Sunday. So bottom line is the entire country gets pretty chilly with this weather pattern coming up, and most of the brutal stuff that nobody really wants to see or likes to see stays across the central northern plains, kind of the Great Lakes, to other parts of pretty much all of Canada. Exception to the rule is going to be way out on the west coast, where California will pretty much skate free on this whole deal. Forward more in time, as we head toward the end of the month, the models are trying to kind of warm things back up and erode and kind of eliminate some of the residual Arctic air here across the country, whereas the brutal stuff stays for the first of the year up across Canada and the Northern Plains. There's a little secondary push, looks like New Year's Eve, coming into the Southern Plains, but it's not too terrible, at least in this output. But that's way out there in the crystal ball, and accuracy of that is about as good as you and me having a few beers and throwing a few darts and seeing where they land. So it's the best way to put that. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom on in. So, by the way, for tomorrow, cold, chilly in the morning, obviously. We'll be in the mid-40s in the afternoon. So, kind of like what today was. We're going to do a lot of rinse and repeating here for the local weather. So, 40s again on Saturday afternoon here across the state. Let's zip on into Sunday. Here we go. What do you got? More 40s, maybe a couple of low 50s showing up. And then on Monday, look at this little warm tongue in the afternoon. We got some 50s to 60s showing in there briefly. But then a cold front comes in Monday night, and that kind of cools us back down. So Tuesday morning, we're going to be in the teens and 20s across the state, in the 30s in the afternoon. So Tuesday's going to be a very cold day next week, and that's not even the big story. All right, so after Tuesday, Wednesday, repeat. We're going to be in the teens and 20s, and then in the afternoon next Wednesday, again, for you traveling or concerns, if you're going to be sticking around or having relatives come in, how should they dress, yada, yada. Tell them to dress warmly. You've got 30s for the afternoon high on Wednesday. Okay, so then let's go to Thursday. Look at this guy right here. Thursday morning, bam. Now this, my friends, is the nastiness that is going to come our way. This is the true blue norther. This is the Arctic front that will slam the state during the day on Thursday, with temperatures dropping quickly. So, we got 30s or so down here in southeast Oklahoma, and we got single digits up here in northwest Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas. So Thursday will be a big transition day. Now, and often, again, we're way out there. A lot of the times, these fronts come in faster than what the models are suggesting. So this arrival here, for example, it has Oklahoma City Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning getting down to 18 degrees. Well, it could easily get down to 18 degrees at midnight, 6 hours or so ahead of time. So just kind of keep that in mind. Meanwhile, we'll still continue to cool on down. So there's Thursday afternoon. We're into the teens across the state, some 20s, maybe southwest. Single digits likely up there in southeastern Kansas for Thursday afternoon. And then we're continue to cool down as cold air advection pushes on in, dropping us further during the day. Single digits by 6 o'clock in the evening. So Thursday's not pretty, folks. And that doesn't even include the wind or the wind chill, which I'd even show on here, which I can briefly show, and I think I will because I'm kind of curious myself at some of the numbers that'll come in. But here's Friday morning. We're looking at the single digits. Bartlesville around 0 degrees. Woo! As we headed to Friday afternoon, not much of a rebound to the teens. Again, this is the latest data with the latest look at how cold, bitterly cold this air mass will be. Now keep in mind, you get temperatures here around central Oklahoma and really pretty much the state itself of 15 degrees or colder for about 24 hours. You got a lot of pipes susceptible to breaking, so kind of keep that in mind. Saturday, cold stuff in the morning, 6 a.m., back into the single digits. In the afternoon, the models try to warm us up into the teens and 20s, so that's your Christmas Eve day. And then Sunday itself, in the morning hours, we're back down to the teens and single digits. You're like, good grief, Aaron, will this ever end? Yes, eventually. But again, we're heading to that cold stretch for Christmas. And Christmas Day, the models are going to try to moderate a bit into the teens. And there's some 20s out in western Oklahoma. So this has been the new trend the last couple of days. Earlier trends, if you had seen me on my early broadcast, tried to warm things up way too fast. I think it was 30s, 40s, and 50s by the time you had into Christmas. I was like, you can discount that. You can throw that away. It was garbage. So it's more likely this will be what happens up into our Christmas period. And, of course, cold after that. Even on a Monday, temperature's still struggling to rebound. So that Arctic air is here to stay. No point going any further in time from that as you get the picture, but I will show you the wind chill values because I am interested in that as the worst of the worst comes in here for Thursday. So let's take a look at that. All right, so here's Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, and you've got wind chill values, as expected, below 0 here in Oklahoma. So it'll feel like -6, Oklahoma City, -8, Enid, -16, Liberal, Kansas. And for the afternoon, we're still talking about -5 to -10 degrees. And the evening, it gets worse. It's going to feel like, to the negative teens in Stillwater, Ponca City. Oh my goodness. Friday, how about that? We got any luck of some, niceness? Nope. We're going to be in the minus teens, minus 12 degrees in Oklahoma City on Friday morning. So when I made that little joke of the post earlier about, well, everybody's rushing for the milk and bread at Walmart and you should be rushing for the long underwear, I wasn't kidding, because if you're not prepared, you're going to be in trouble. Make sure that means your pipes and plants and kids and pets and cars, all of it winterized. How you winterize a child? Dress them in layers. All right, so here's a look at the Friday afternoon. Wind chill values calmed down just a bit. We're still, though, it feels like in the single digits, 2 below 0 in northeastern Oklahoma. And then over the weekend for Saturday, Christmas Eve, still cold. Wind chill values down around 0. And on, looks like that. Look at that. In the afternoon, hey, they warmed up a little bit. How about that? We finally got a little bit of a break. Winds must have calmed down some. And then on, let's go Saturday evening, on into Christmas Day itself. Oh, would you look at that? More negative numbers up there in northeast Oklahoma. And Sunday at noon, wind chill values still struggling to get above 0 up northeast. At least around 10 degrees, what it'll feel like here in central Oklahoma. So there's your breakdown, play-by-play of your temperatures over that course of time. All right, now storm systems. What are we going to get? We can get a winter storm. We're going to get some snow. What's coming our way? Well, let's take a look. All right, so first off, we need a big storm system to produce the precipitation. So you've seen me plot this many times. This is the jet stream pattern. This is the upper level energy that wraps up. So when you get the brighter colors, that indicates a lot of lift that rotates around these upper level lows. So that's where you get all the inclement weather, okay? But you have to watch sometimes these little guys here that'll swing through. These little batches of energy that'll come in, riding along the jet stream, and when they zip on through, they can produce sometimes precipitation. So that's what we're going to look forward to as we go through time here. So we've got this little system wrapping up. This is for Friday and Saturday. Believe it or not, a little strong system comes by. We should be mostly dry with that, though. And then as we head into Monday, so this is Sunday night and a Monday. So this is our next batch of energy that comes through. It will produce some light rain, mix in potentially some light snow mixture across parts of eastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. It doesn't look like a big deal right now, but that is our first little wave of significance that comes by. All right, so now it gets kind of quiet, and then here we go. What's going to happen with this guy? All right, so this right here is Thursday. All right, so here's the kicker. I'm going kind of back and forth here. All right, you kind of get the pattern how that kind of comes in Oklahoma. All right, so again, it's kind of lined up in this fashion, coming over through like this. Now, I can tell you that the model's been all over the place with where this comes in the trajectory. If it can come in more like this and then come over, all of a sudden our precipitation goes way up. If it can do, forget all that and come in like this, oh, it's nobody's going anywhere for Christmas. So it's right now, this is a long shot. This is like betting $20 on the horse, and saying, come on, number 3. And number 3's got 3 legs. It doesn't have a chance. But you're going to go for it. Right now, that's number 3. This would be number 2, and this would be number 1. So obviously the models like the number 1 position, and we'll take a look at what that looks like in the precipitation department, which does include snow. Believe it or not, that is enough energy here at the right position to give us a little bit in combination with the cold front coming in, kind of squeezing out whatever moisture that we do have. So here's a look at the big picture. Again, that big storm system up to our north, as we mentioned, all that energy is producing some snow for those guys. But now let's fast forward in time. Here's that little dilly on Sunday night, Monday morning. See that little light rain here across Oklahoma. And a little bit of that blue showing up there in Kansas and also across Missouri. And even a little bit of Arkansas, you guys get a little bit of snow up there for that Monday situation, which is, pretty good deal. All right, so now let's fast forward from there. And that could be here's the deal. This far out, the models usually pretty poor at the strength of these little mini shortwaves that come through. And a lot of times they will surprise you. So don't give up, don't forget about this little guy starting up Monday morning. It may turn into something a little bit bigger than what the model suggested. And they'll fine tune it starting tomorrow and Saturday. And that's when they'll actually know what it really has capable within it. But never discount those little things. That will hose a forecaster more times than I've noticed. Okay, so let's go on past that one. Big high pressure builds in for Tuesday. Remember, that was our first big cool down. And then we've got the secondary cool down that comes in. And now look at this. So let me go back here, and this is on Thursday morning. So this is the latest American model from this afternoon, and you can see all that blue stuff here across Kansas and Oklahoma. So it is producing some brief bursts of some heavy snow, and that continues into eastern Oklahoma and then into Arkansas, so we see go through time through the day on Thursday, and then it's out of here for Friday. High pressure builds on in, but I can still tell you, just like I did earlier at noontime today and yesterday, it's still a little fuzzy beyond that, and there's still little bits of energy that swings down from the northwest. And any one of those can create a little dusting of light snow or some flurries. So don't be surprised if we have some more light snow that moves across the state, like this kind of sort of hints at for Christmas Eve day on that Saturday. And with lingering flurries, maybe even on Sunday morning in some of the data. So don't be surprised if that comes out there, which technically would be a white Christmas, right, if all that happened. But no huge storm systems other than that after that period for right now, going way out in time. There's a little system may happen here at the of course it would. New Year's Eve. Nobody wants a New Year's Eve storm. Come on now. Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. That could be here today and gone tomorrow, so I'm not going to sweat it. Just so you know. All right, let's take a zoom in view of that stuff and get you a little better acclimated on your positioning. So here's that light rain that moves in for Sunday night and a Monday morning. Quick little mover. And look at that little burst of snow there that it transitions to from Tulsa. And if we look at the forecast soundings, looking at that, the atmosphere completely saturated with 33 degrees. So yes, it can snow at 33 or 34 or even 35 degrees as long as it's below freezing above the very surface layer of the atmosphere, which it looks like it's going to be on the borderline there. So a little bit of rain and snow mixture looks likely. This has been a signal now for a while for that part of the state. Can it be Oklahoma City? It could. It's not likely, but it could. Anyway, so that'll move on by. So then the rest of Monday night into Tuesday, let's see, drying out. And then we shall focus on the next go around. Here we go. So there's a quick little burst of snow that moves in here for Thursday morning here at 6 o'clock. You've got Oklahoma City. And if I do a point sounding at that with the Arctic air in place, of course the sounding profile is super supportive of snow because it is all below this little line right here, which is the 0 degrees Celsius line. So everything left of that is all snow at this point, but there's not a lot of lift. And a lot of times when the model will say, all right, what about freezing rain and drizzle, which can come out of an Arctic front because it squeezes out that moisture. So if you get some decent lift, you'll end up turning that piddly freezing rain drizzle into more of a snow signal. So obviously we should get some snow out of that with the lift that comes with both the upper system and the front itself. Okay, so anyway, so there's Thursday morning going through. So if you noticed on this map, a lot of the heavier snow is in eastern Oklahoma. And I'll show you the snowfall totals of what that looks like here in a second. And then after that, like we said, there's some hints of some flurries or light dusting of snow on Saturday. And then earlier data had a little bit on Sunday. There's Sunday night up in northwest Oklahoma there. But anyway, and then later on, like I said, maybe something happens here, which would be as we head into the New Year's Eve period, so somewhere close to that time frame. All right, so if we look at the European data, it's ensembles. It has these little hints of some snow here in Oklahoma City. So there's that first little round for early Monday morning. So you can see several of the members says, hey, we might get at least a little bit of snow mixed in. Here's another little round here for the 22nd. Here again is Christmas Eve day and even Christmas Day itself, even a couple days after. So what you're seeing is a lot of noise in the model data, a lot of uncertainty that it knows it's cold enough for snow. It's just waiting to try to pick up on these little disturbances. If you do look at the measurable snow, it's through that Monday time frame. At least some of this is measurable, so it's up to about I guess you call it a trace, 100th of an inch of snowfall. What we do know is that the newest, let's call it the experimental run of the American model, this puts this snowfall forecast on the map based off what we just looked at. All right, so it does have, again, this is for the system coming in throughout the end of the week, 2 inches of snow here in Oklahoma City. It's got about 6 to 7 inches of snow over here in parts of southeastern Oklahoma. Up in northeast Oklahoma, looks like 2 to 3 to 4 inches of snow. So, but remember what I said, you don't want to take snowfall maps exact, much less this far out. But what we look at is a signal, the trend, Is it going higher? Is it going lower? Does it shift east? Does it shift west? Now, remember earlier when I told you about the track of the upper level jet stream pattern? If it shifts a little bit more to the west, if it does shift a little bit more to the west, again, remember the track is kind of like this, and all of a sudden if it comes in like this, you got it. All this mess shifts west. And that place is Oklahoma City, right in the bullseye of the fun stuff of 6 to 7 inches of snow. So that's how quickly your forecast can change based off just 100 to 200 miles in the upper atmosphere. How about that, right? Okay, temperatures for the seasonal outlook through the month, as you can imagine, from what I've showed you, is going to be below normal, so it'll be quite cold. So just get used to it. Now, if we look at a model blend here across Oklahoma City, and your of course town will differ slightly, but we've already looked at some of those temperatures though on the maps though, but this is just a conservative approach, which is going to keep us into the teens at nighttime and daytime highs in the 20s during this period as we get in that colder stuff in there for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But again, these numbers will change, just to get massaged, both the high and the low with time. All right. I'm going to check to see if the newest data came in for the evening run that covers up to that period. Ooh, and it does. So I haven't seen this yet, so I want to see. Let's see what it does with the upper energy. This is where I'm going to either get excited or I may be disappointed. Let's find out. All right, so let's zoom on through. What's it doing? Oh, it's the same. It's lame. All right, we're like, how do you know, Aaron? All right, I'm going to answer your question. You're going to check this out. So let's do, so we'll go this forecast hour period, and we're going to go the trend of the model. Okay, so we're going to see how far this track has changed since going back to the 13th, so 2 days ago. And the model runs 4 times a day, so we're going to go back all these little different runs and see how the patterns changed. And then we're going to see what the trend is. Okay, so at the beginning, the upper level low and all the energy is back out here for this same time Thursday morning. All right, so that's a big difference what we just looked at. All right, so let's go to the next frame. All right, now it kind of shifts that low to the east some. Let's go to the next round. Oh, it just blew it up across the northern plains. All right, let's go to the next one. Whoa, too far east. This gives us nothing. This is bone dry. All right, and then we go to the next one. It shifted back up to the north. Look how much variability there is. Look at this one. It's still up to the north. Next run, kind of up to the north, and the big, strong upper level low is not even signaled well. Here's one, a smaller low, but back up to the north. All right, this one went way back north and east again. You barely can find the low. It's over the Ontario or something. Let's see for the next one. Hey, we're back to the Central Plains. Some of that energy sprinkling through. All right, here's the next one, and it's still got it about the same location. And then here's the one for tonight. So if you've noticed, let me go back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so here's the deal. The models are starting to lock into this type of a pattern where they've got a strong low up here. They've got a weaker low here. High stays there, low's trapped in here. And the back end here of the action swings down right in here and then through Oklahoma as it zips on out. So this hasn't changed in the last couple of runs of the models, so that's a good sign. It means it's settling down. It can still be tweaked, still be fine-tuned, and honestly, it could still go off the rails, but it should be doing better from this point forward going out. And what we'll watch for is little subtle differences. Is it end up kind of shifting back out in this direction like we just saw in some of its earlier runs, or does it shift back out more in this direction? Big difference. It goes here, we get no snow here across Oklahoma if it goes in this configuration. If it goes back in this configuration, a lot more snow. If it goes in this configuration here, it's about where it is, which I showed you what the map show, which potentially is on the table. And we can look to see, let's do that real quick. Let's just see what that output looks like. It should be very similar to what we just saw a minute ago with the positioning. By the way, let's see. There's the new look for Monday morning right there. This hasn't changed any, okay? And then now let's go to Thursday. All right, so there's Thursday 6 a.m., 9 a.m. Okay, so even that, it had it. You can see how the output's a little bit more shifted to the east. Just in that little subtle change in the jet stream pattern we noticed where it was just kind of doing this a little bit. So again, just a little off to the east, looks like is what it did for the last run when you zoom in close enough to see it, and that puts us in that drier mass. So if we looked at the snowfall total as a result of that, let's see what it did to those numbers. It's going to reduce them probably some and shift them east. So yeah, the heaviest snow is almost in Arkansas, about 4 inches, and Miami up around northeast Oklahoma about 4 inches. And of course Kansas gets hit, Missouri will get hit with this, Arkansas will get hit, and Hummer nothing. Flurries, back to flurries here in Oklahoma City, and that's about it. So there you go. That is the purpose of that exercise, was to show you what goes on behind the scenes, the actual science in forecasting the weather, the data that we look at as meteorologists, and the ones that we have to go like this. Ugh. What to do with this? And then the frustration. But also keep in mind, we tell you this because you're trying to forecast something that's going to happen in time that is 7, 8 days away, right? And trying to get very specific. And so you can see how you're asking for trouble when you can overpromise and underdeliver when it comes to snow. The cold is still an easy pick as far as actual numbers. Again, we won't know those, but we're getting more of a settled down, idea, general ballpark. So some single digits and teens looks like more and more likely with each passing day. So that's kind of how it resides. And you just saw the latest data hot off the presses as to what is potentially heading our way. Let me see if there was any other data that came in that we can look at before I let you go. The Canadian model is not quite that far. I can look though to see what it did on the pattern loft. Let me see if I can get enough. No, it's not going to tell me enough data, so that's okay. All right, but that was, I would say, everything in a nutshell. That was a really big nutshell. But what you guys got to witness was an entire explanation as to how things work and why. If you guys in Dallas, North Texas, you're going, hey, I didn't see any snow for us. I said, no, you didn't. We're barely going to get it in Oklahoma the way things are going. The easy call, of course, is the farther north you travel, and also the east you go, from the kind of that axis, north to south axis. If you draw a line due north at Oklahoma City, and then east of that, that's where your probabilities of snow continue to go up pretty dramatically every mile you take. Let me think. There was something else I wanted to show you. So let me do this. All right, so you're looking at my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com, and I have a tab on here. It says Weather Data. If you go down here to Weather Data, you can click on, and this is going to be very important for you. You're going to want to know this. It says Multi-State Road Conditions. So I'm going to click on Multi-State Road Conditions. So this will show you the soil temperatures here in Oklahoma City and surrounding parts of the state, which right now are in the 40s. And there's a little rule of thumb. Once you get those temperatures into the 30s, then the precipitation in the form of ice and snow doesn't melt, so it sticks around. But it does have the snow routes on here once they're implemented across Oklahoma City metro area, and then it'll show you the road conditions across Oklahoma that you can click on. Little icons that'll pop up so you can actually see the road conditions there. And of course, you've got the Oklahoma Transportation Network here that's zoomed in across the Oklahoma City Metro, or you can take it to other parts of the state, so you can zoom on in across, and you can click on these little cameras, and you can actually see what the roads look like all across Oklahoma. So if you do have to travel for your friends and family, or have them coming in, they can look at this website, look at that weather tab, and they get all this information. Goes for Missouri, same idea. So if you guys up there in Missouri, there's Texas. Let's see what else I got on here. Kansas, I think I just went past Kansas. Yeah, there's Kansas road conditions as well. And so again, you can click on all of these to get a live view of what the roads actually look like. And there's some little tips here on what you can do when you do head out in snow-covered roads or what it may be, and how to protect yourself in driving. And then there's a link here for Arkansas. You can pull up those roads as well. I just couldn't put it in on my site. All right, and then was there anything else on here? Oh, I don't think this will be a problem, but the Oklahoma power outages are on here as well. And Let me look in here. Of course, you've got the radar, but you can also get the radar on the weather app, AT's Weather to Go. But if you do try to use the interactive radar, it's very similar, works all across the country, and you can zoom in, and it changes over colors for the precipitation, and you can toggle on different layers. I've got the default here of lightning and national radar, but it's got future radar on here as well, and some other things you can click on that you'll find of interest. So there's a lot of stuff on here you just have to play around with. The other thing, I think that's all I want to point out right now. But yeah, you can look at this at your leisure to see anything else that might interest you. All right, well, listen, that's it from me. I appreciate you guys stopping by tonight, and I'll do some more updates as we go through time, as we track the next big Arctic blast coming for our state. You guys have been great. Thanks again for chiming in and for the support on the stars. And the donations and the support for the Facebook fan subscriptions or Patreon or Subscribestar. Everything does help, so I appreciate you tremendously. And we shall talk again. Good night, everybody.